I'm Mel Stewart, and this is the SwimSwam podcast. Joining me today is the man on deck, SwimSwam's head of production, Coleman Hodges. And today we have a very, very, very special guest. Perhaps one of the greatest swimmers of their era, a history maker, Olympic champion, and head coach of the University of Florida, Anthony Nesty.
Thanks for having me, guys.
I had to bring you on to emotionally get over all of the trauma that I went through in the 1980s, because your picture was on my wall as a child. I had Michael Gross and Anthony Nesty, and I have to say that there were times where I lost you and it hurt really badly. Like I had a lot of anguish. I'm laughing and joking, but it's like, what was that? Sophomore year, 200-yard butterfly. Whew. That was painful, man. But you didn't even care. You just wanted to win the 100 fly. 200 fly was just a pickup for you.
That was definitely my second event. Yeah,
was definitely
100 fly was my bread and butter. But you beat me. You had your fair share of beating me as well. So
it's a. I didn't even. Were you in the final? You were 8th at 1988 in 200 fly.
Yes.
Wow, that was a. So I was dug into your background, and I knew this, but I'd forgotten about it. Second black swimmer to ever win an individual gold medal. Second South African swimmer to ever win an individual Olympic gold medal. Excuse me. And South America. Excuse me. Did I say that?
You said
I did say that
South
correctly.
It's South African.
South Africa. I said South Africa. Shame on me. South America. I know where Suriname is, and we're very, very close friends with all of the University of Florida swimmers, and I was painfully aware of, like, they said, you guys don't understand this. His face is on planes. It's on the currency. This guy is it's like, this is a huge deal in terms of swim, and through the lens of the 80s, it was swimming was not what it is today. It's in the United States, but abroad, the Olympics was a big deal. Did you understand the weight of what you accomplished back then?
Not until I got home, because when I got home after I won the gold, it was madness. But everybody everybody was besides himself. Everybody was so fired up, because back then the country wasn't doing so well. So 53 seconds made people forget their suffering. All the hard times they were going through, and they were so proud of that moment, and that kind of stands out the most. People were just so happy.
Yeah, it's okay. For all the young listeners out there, I want to bear witness to this. As early as 1983, Coach Nesty was on the Pan American team with his sister Pauline, correct?
Correct.
1984, you were a child. Are you 14 or 15? How old are you at that point?
I think I was 14 going on to 15.
14 years old, you get 21st in the 100-meter butterfly. By 1987, Anthony wins. You won the 100 fly. Did you win the 200? You won the 200 fly. Did you win the 200 fly at Pan Am's?
I don't think so. Oh, no, I don't think so.
You get bronze in the 200 fly. You get gold in the 100 fly, bronze in the 200 fly. So by 1988, I'm in the Olympic stands, and I watch you edge Mapiondi, and I think that people went bananas, because everyone felt that was Mapiondi's race. And that was a moment in time, one of the most exciting races of the 1988 Olympic Games. We're going to get to the University of Florida and all the great things you're accomplishing now. I know you're uncomfortable because you're such a gentleman and you don't like people talking about how great you are, but I'm just going to say it. there are a few moments in your mind in Olympic sports that you bear witness to, and that was a pretty amazing moment. It was an emotional moment for you in that moment, winning by 1/100th of a second, 53 flat. Where was your head?
Well, I was again, I wasn't supposed to win. I was just hoping to get into the finals. I got into the finals, and then I was third going into the finals. So I was like, I'll probably have a good shot at getting the bronze. But when I finished, I turned to the scoreboard, and you see a one by your name. It's especially special because my dad was in the stands, and I looked up to him, and he was just going crazy in the set. It was awesome. It was awesome to see, and my coach Kenneth McDonough from back home. When I got out of the pool, of course, Dara was there, and my coach, Coach Kenneth McDonough, who passed away last year, and it was just the people who followed my career, helped me through so many ups and downs. Of course, my dad, my family, and my coach, of course, and for those two guys, I win. I look at my dad; he was going crazy. I get out of the pool. You have Dara there, and then my coach from back home. So it was pretty special at that moment.
It's the small things about your history that people appreciate, and what I find fascinating is that you went to the '84 Olympics, then you went to bowls.
Correct.
Then you went on to bowls. You're a foundational member of why people think of bowls and think, wow, this is an amazing program. It's I think that's fascinating. I forgot about the 1991 World Championships. I think that Michael Gross was on at those World Championships. I think he had a whole lot more speed. He was a 200 butterflyer, but he was tough. It was, in terms of all of your swims, is 88 the swim that is the one that sticks in your brain, the thumbnail, or do you have any moments in time as a competitor where you're like, that was great, that's something that sticks with me?
Well, it's probably my high school state meet my senior year. The 50 freeze before the fly. So I messed up my start. I go straight to the bottom of the pool. So I had to kick to come up, and I think I got second or third. So I was pretty embarrassed, pretty upset, at myself, of course. But the 20 minutes later, the 100 fly was up, and I broke the national record. So I took it out on the 100 fly. But it was it's the highs and lows of athletics, life. It was also a teaching moment for me. It doesn't matter how prepared you are, don't assume anything. Things can go wrong, and I tell our guys all the time, Murphy's, you could be prepared to be ready to go, but Murphy's law always shows up in opportune times, and that's why that's why we work so hard. You train so hard, mentally, physically. So when those things happen, you can rebound and get the results you want.
And you were somebody who expected great success, because in 1985, you had broken, in context, you're in high school, you're a sophomore, you broke Pablo Morales' national prep school record.
Right.
And so I'm apologies, but this is all coming from memory. This is like standing on deck and remembering things from when you're a kid and remembering things from when you witnessed it. Were you a 47.8 in the 100-yard butterfly in high school? What was it was a crazy swim.
It was 47.6. I think it was 47.6.
47.6.
7, 8, somewhere there.
God, I hate you sometimes, man. So fast. All right, we had to go there. Had to say it. Had to bear witness. And if I could say anything about my time during those years, I was a complete a-hole. And Anthony was the epitome of a sportsman. And it's not a surprise that he has so much success today. Let's get on to the University of Florida. And, you know, we're going through such tough times. And I think about the drama and if you just the juxtaposition against all the success you guys had early in the season, that you have the two fastest men in swimming, Karen Smith, Bobby Fink, 406 500-yard free from Karen, 1412 in the mile. So the obvious question is, what do you do? What's the deal? Why distance swimmers? Are you coaching? Is this all you? I figured you'd be just a sprint man, nitro all the time. It just helped me unpack that.
You know, when you're the head coach, you wear many hats, and I'm pretty fortunate to have Steve as my associate. He's a good man. It's good to bounce stuff off him, because when you're dealing with 36 guys, you can't. I don't care who you are. It's hard to do. You can't do it by yourself. We also have a good support staff, nutrition, our trainers, academic advisors, and probably the most important group on campus is the strength and conditioning staff. So they do a fantastic job. But I always enjoy coaching distance. I'm an F1 guy. And if swimming distance event is just like an F1 race, right? You can get a blown tire, you can crash, your engine can get blown. I mean, you can pass people. It's just like a NASCAR race where things happen and you have to react, and and then also being in a position to, like a University of Florida, you get fantastic athletes coming through your program. So, and those two guys are very special. The main thing about those two guys, they listen very well. They're really, really good team guys, and it's not surprising to me that they go so fast in swim meets, because I have a saying that I got from Coach Schulberg. I tell our guys all the time, there's no speed limit in the pool, and those guys have none. They're doing some special stuff the last couple of weeks, and it's just no surprise to me.
If you're going 406 and 412, I think suddenly that's a sprint. Right? Isn't it?
That's a good question, because people think speed is just 50s and 100s, but speed is relative to the event you swim. Holding 50 points in a 500 free, that is fast. Holding 52s in a mile, that is fast. So it's speed relative to the event you swim. So I'm a big believer in that.
Coleman, I'm going to pull you in here, and we can do the deep dive in college swimming. Coach, just from a personal standpoint, I think that you're somebody who's achieved your entire life, and you've achieved at a high level. And I think high achievers are some people live a balanced life. Some people can, they can handle stopping and slowing down. They're not necessarily defined by their achievements. But it's for people who are high achievers, the pandemic's been a particularly tough time, because it's, in many ways, you've had to sit down and go internal and
right.
and do things differently. How have you managed during this period?
Well, the lockdown is good for me, because a lot of self-reflection, and it gave me an opportunity to hang out with my daughter too. So. I was kind of the principal, because she had class from 9 to 2, and my wife works at the counseling center, so she was essential. So she went to work. So it's just me and my daughter's name is Lily. So it was an awesome couple of months there, where I hadn't had the chance to hang out with her, every day for 6, 7, 8 weeks. So that was good. But to to get our guys focused, of course, Zoom is the thing. We had a lot of Zoom calls, and a couple of things I said. Our guys took it to heart, because I told them, whatever you do, if it's 30 minutes of doing something, it better be 30 minutes that it is on it. So whatever you do from now until we get back, if it's 20 minutes, 10 minutes, do the best job you can in that time. Because I also told them that when we started back, we're going to be a little more aggressive starting back, because you never know what the second week goes, or the next month, or the next year it has in store for us. So we have to be ready, and mentally, physically. Again, support staff from our nutrition department. They were in tune with all our athletes when they were gone. The strength and conditioning staff, our trainers kept real good tabs. And another thing that we took fully advantage of is our, we have some fantastic counselors, that work with our athletes. And I made it a point that our guys, because, athletes are so wired, they have goals, right? What's next? What swim meets? And all of a sudden, there is nothing. So those guys had to readjust too. So I made sure our counselors on campus had really good contact with them. And I told them too, when we get back, this is going to be the hardest year for them. Because every week, I deal with 36 guys, right? Every day, every sickness that was a normal sickness 6 months ago, it's not normal. You got the sniffles, it's not normal. You can miss 1 to 2 days. Right now, if you have a sore throat, what's people thinking? Oh, I got COVID, but it could be strep throat. Therefore, it's it's going to be a difficult couple of months ahead, but our guys are doing a good job. Credit to UF Sports Health. Our guys took what their plan is and what they implemented on campus and their apartments too. So, and what they're doing is, credit to our guys. They've been on top of it, and I'm very proud of them. So.
Just Coleman, get ready to come on in here, but I have one final question before you jump in. I just want to say this, and I get a lot of. First of all, the SwimSwam podcast is mostly swim parents and older swimmers, and so the audience skews a little older on the podcast. And for those out there listening, I get a lot of phone calls from parents, and they're asking me that one crucial question, which is, where do you go to school? And I don't ever tell people where to go to school, but I do say one thing. I say your head coach needs to care about your kids' mental health. They need to fit. They need to have character, and that you need to be able to count on them. And I can't say that about every college coach. I have a very unique experience in college with my own personal coach, and it's when you think about your own child and where they're going, those are the things you think about. Because my feeling is, if you're going to a big enough program, your kids are probably, if their mental health, the coach cares about them, and the coach has character, they're going to get faster. But how are they going to be? What kind of human are they going to be on the other side? Anthony Nesty gets 10 out of 10 stars on all those points. So there's a question in this. What's if you're when you have that takeaway conversation, what's college swimming is recruiting. What is your message to parents when you're talking to them and you're talking about their kids coming there to spend 4 years with you?
Recruiting is what it is, right? It's always trying to sell your program the best way you can. When I talk to parents and athletes, I talk to them like I would, the kids here. I think if University of Florida is on your radar, you got to be a good student, okay? Because each year academically, Florida's getting harder and harder. We were ranked 6th public university this year. So it's, I tell parents athletically, it's pretty tough, but so is the academic side of the University of Florida. And the people who I recruit, I want high character guys, good people. This is, I tell, my buddies all the time, the older I get, the less I like to deal with problems. I enjoy coaching too much, and sometimes, you're dealing with college kids, so you always have something going on. But I am very passionate in what I do. Obviously, character is big. Education is big. And the most important thing, our guys should have empathy for not only for themselves but for their teammates. If you have that balance, I think that's why we've been so successful the last 2 years. I got good character guys with empathy, guys who are my core values is honesty and respect. If you're honest with yourself, if you're respectful, you're going to have a fantastic team. And I preach that all the time: honesty and respect. It's simple, two simple words, but I wasn't going to talk politics, but you look at what's going on throughout the country now. Honesty and respect. It's makes you wonder.
I told Coleman, I told you you're coming in, but you're not coming in. Is your wife a therapist? Is she a clinical therapist?
Well, she helps out at no, but she helps out at a counseling center.
Got you. Okay, so I just heard you say. First of all, men don't say this. Men don't say empathy, and they don't say empathy for yourself. Because you have to have empathy for yourself first before you really can have empathy and be a good teammate. So
Sure.
I was just like, ooh, this is pretty high level coaching. But it's part of being a coach is being a clinical therapist. In addition, you're training the mind and the body.
Sure.
I've known you for years and years and years, and I'm still being surprised by your understanding of sport. What does that look like? What does that look like at the University of Florida when you're like, guys, you got to have empathy for yourself, empathy for your teammates?
Well, it's been a process, because like you said, men don't say that, and definitely coaches don't say that often. So looking back, this is my third year now. Looking back 2 years, those guys were surprised that they heard those terms or words, but as they progressed throughout the weeks, months, they could see that if I take care of this guy, you know what, the team will be better. If I am more respectful for the trainers, the trainers, they work for 36 guys. They're there all the time. No thank you, please. Say thanks, please. I mean, it goes a long way. And then, and I tell guys all the time, if you're very respectful and honest, people will go to bat for you. And I think that's the culture we have here. That's the culture I want. And of course, you're dealing with college guys. By no means do we have angels, but I think our guys are very respectful, very honest, and they have empathy for themselves and their teammates. And it that's why the performances show too. I think. If you look at the improvements of our team, we have Bobby, Kieran, but we have some guys that people have never heard of, and they're posting times that people are going, wow. So and I preach that too, Mel. I tell our guys all the time, me as a coach, I should improve every week, but they should too, because improvement is our number one goal. and especially a tough a sport as swimming. You know, you have to improve in all facets of the sport, you know, but it's your start, turn, technique, your mind, your eating habits. It's a lot of work, and it's stuff that you have to do to be the best you can be. So sorry about my rambling on.
No. We love it. It's all good stuff. Who shaped your coaching understanding? And the reason why I'm asking this is it's just, you know, if I talk to Greg Troy, I haven't seen Troy for years. I can sit down with Troy and it feels like I'm picking. I've known this guy since I was 12. I sit down. We can go a long period of time without talking. I'll sit down to him. He'll be like, "What's up, Stuart?" And then he's like, "Yeah, these kids." He goes, "Kids in swimming today, they need to do honest work. People aren't doing honest work anymore. You gotta pay the bank." He's like, so it's you know, there's a lot of different coaching philosophies, and there is honest work, and then there is a lot of people who are doing experimenting with things. Where do you fall on that scale? What are you bringing every day and over a season?
That's a good question. The way I explain it to our guys, we go 9 practices this fall. Each practice complements the other. So, you know, if you go Monday morning, that Monday morning is going to complement Monday night, and so forth and so forth. You know, I have some guys that their alarms don't go off. And what I tell them is, guys, you missed the bus. And once you miss the bus, you can't catch the bus because the bus is at the second stop. You know, I've had the fortune of working with very good coaches throughout the years. You know, Greg Troy is one of them. You know, I swam for Randy, Skip Foster, my coach from back home, but I also have a lot of coaching friends that I bounce stuff off. We talk regularly, so you kind of, you know, whatever you do, whatever I do or we do, it's done before, you know. But it's kind of you put your twist to it, and my twist is always that you know, if you have 9 practices, first practice complements the second one, the second, the third, and so forth and so on. And then if you missed a boat on one, you missed a bus on one, you can't get that back. You could maybe try again next week when we have a new week, but that's why I think it resonates with our guys, because you know, the consistency that I like to see in practice, the speed that I like to see in practice, the attention to detail, the technical things. It's a lot for our athletes to think, because I harp on to those guys all the time, and I'm very passionate on deck. I think one of my strengths, I like, you know, I could have a lot of balls in the air, but get the job done. And you know, and then, you know, it was pretty funny. We have a foreign kid. My first week of practice, for his first week of practice, I was all over the place, and he goes, "Hey, coach, I can't believe you're walking all over the deck. My coach back home just sits in the chair and, you know, watches his phone the whole time." I said, "That's awesome, coach." So, you know, that made me, that means I'm doing the right thing, you know. So, you know, I kind of put my own twist into things. I think the way we run things is it's different. Probably not different, but you know, I like our speed at practice. You know, I'm an NFL guy. Okay, I'm a Packers fan, and you know, they always talk about, you know, you have to do things at the speed of the game, and it's no different than what we do. And you know, I said earlier, the saying from Coach Schulberg, there's no speed limit in the pool, and I tell our guys that all the time. But, you know, go ahead.
No, it's just it's weird. We live in a simulation, I think. And within the last 10 days, I had a conversation with Randy, and where I told Randy Reese that I loved him. And I was, I was talking to somebody. I'm like, I genuinely love this guy. A lot of people are afraid of Randy Reese. And I told him for one reason. I said, when I was a kid and I was on the national team, I would go eat at his table, every meal. And I did because he made me feel safe. And so that was your coach. You were shaped by Troy, by Randy. Am I missing anybody? Skip Foster. What's when you carry that sort of experience to the deck? I know the kind of dedication Randy had. It has. This guy is like a steel freaking rod. He's immovable. And it sounds like you brought your own twist to that. Well, what do you bring to the pool when you have that kind of experience? Is that always with you? Like, there's not. I'm trying to. What I'm trying to get at. This is a unique experience you have with some of the greatest coaches on earth.
I think that you take stuff from people who you trust, right? And people who. And if they've done it at a high level, they must be doing something right. But by the same token, no one is perfect, right? So you have to shape it the way you think it's perfect for you. And in our case, for Anthony Nesty at the University of Florida. And then again, what I've done is. Couple of things that it's very important that our support staff is part of this journey, as if I may say that, because they're equally as important. Because we see our guys 2 hours, 4 hours a day. They probably see them more. So I do want them to know that. It's one thing I don't do is micromanage them, but they're very good at what they do, and I trust what they do, and I think that's why you've been so successful. We all have a common goal is to take care of these guys first and foremost, whether they swim fast or not, right? I mean, I tell our guys all the time, I don't care how fast you swim, but when you leave Florida, man, you're going to be so successful. You're going to have all the tools you need, to be successful. And that is obviously, as a swim coach, you want them to win gold medals, break records, and win championships. But that's kind of the ultimate goal that I have for our guys. And, we had the first graduating class last year. I mean, most of them have jobs, engineers, business people. I mean, they're doing very well, and hopefully I was a part of that. So
we're down to 4 minutes. Coleman, do you have anything? I could talk to Anthony Nesty for the next 5 hours, but you have to have something you want to ask him.
Well, with 4 minutes, I don't know. So, oh man, put me on the spot. So you talked about empathy for the guys, teaching that. That's not, under Greg Troy, Mel talked about there was honest work at Florida. I'm sure there still is. But Greg Troy doesn't seem like someone who necessarily taught empathy, and that could be just from the outside looking in. But he from the outside looking in, he's an intimidating figure. He seems kind of hard. He seems kind of rock solid. So when you came into Florida, were you kind of still that empathetic guy? And what did you take away from your time swimming there? I mean, is that where you kind of learned how to teach empathy?
Well, if you look at our sport, it's so demanding to begin with. Just count the hours that you're here, the hours that you in class, in the weight room, in the training room, doing your dry land and doing your extras, right? If you're an athlete and and the coach doesn't stop and talk to you about what kind of coffee you like, okay? Do you like to go hunting? Do you like to go fishing? I mean, it's something that if the guys are comfortable with you, I think they're gonna swim freer. I don't know if that's the way I look at it. I have a couple of friends of mine who they're in special forces, and I've read a lot of stuff. One of the things they talked about is the trust factor between the tier 1 operators and because there's they work out probably more than we do, and the trust factor, because they trust each other, it makes, when they go into an operation, and it makes them free. So and them being free, they do their jobs a lot better, if that makes any sense. And I think that's what we do here in Florida. I love all these guys. Yes, sometimes I'm very hard on them, but they understand at the end of the day. We're here for the University of Florida. I'm here for them. I tell parents, I tell kids all the time who come to Florida, I'm going to treat you like my own. Okay. You may not like what I say to you today, but once you leave the pool deck, we are back being buddies. No, and I tell our guys all the time, in this business, how hard it is. You can't hold grudges because in the heat of the moment, heat of the battle, you may say something that it's going to rub somebody the wrong way, but by the intentions, it's not that. They need to understand that, once it's said, it's over, turn the page, and let's move on.
You've been listening to the SwimSwam podcast. Stay tuned for new episodes every week. You can take SwimSwam podcast on the go by subscribing on your favorite podcast platform. Look for links in the description below, and be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel for more videos as well.